That wasn't? Okay.
I now call to order the City of Indianola Council meeting for June 17th, 2024. Will you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jackie, would you call the roll?
Councilmember Richardson.
Aye. Present.
Got it. Ray,
Here.
Dalby,
Here.
Zones, Armstrong,
Here.
Mayor Erickson.
Present. Moving on to item number 4, public comment. Is there anybody that's here tonight that would like to speak on anything that is not on the agenda? Seeing none. Item 5. Is there any items that need to be pulled from the consent agenda?
Welcome you.
Item G. Okay. Item I.
Pull the claims, please.
So can I get a first and second motion on all items with the exception of item B, item I, and item U? Charlie, there's quite a bit on here. If you just want to give us a brief rundown on some of the things here.
Yeah, so we're setting various public hearings for the July 1st and July 15th council meeting, approving a handful of applications there as well too. Some construction stuff, we're just accepting easements and authorizing payments and some right-of-way acquisition for a few projects. Amending the employee handbook, approving monthly transfers, a lot of second considerations from ordinances that were considered at your last meeting. Some stuff to do with the CDBG downtown grant that the city received, just approving the contract for our architectural services for that. And then approving some policies that are needed to receive those CDBG funds. A maintenance agreement that is on there for some stuff for the activity center. Pending enforcement of the consumption of alcohol on East Salem for an event that's taking place on June 22nd. And then our normal urban revitalization designations, a resolution approving a contract with Ryan Companies. And a resolution approving salaries. Really quick on the resolution approving the contract with Ryan Companies. That one got added late on Friday just because we had some revisions back on that one. I think there's going to be 2 changes to that. There is a section in there that refers to the state of California. Ryan's legal counsel is making sure that they need that on there. If not, that'll get pulled. And then the signature on that one is Ben as the city manager. We're probably going to change that to the mayor. Just seems like that's normal on bigger contracts like that. But we don't have that final draft back. The drafts are all in your packet. They're all included, but the final actually executable draft, we haven't quite yet. So that'll just be something that we'll work with the mayor to get signed later this week.
Questions for Charlie? Jackie?
Councilmember Dalby,
Aye.
Zones, Armstrong.
Aye.
Richardson,
Aye.
Beach,
Aye.
Ray,
Aye.
Circle back to item B, approval of claims. I need a person. And then Steve, I assume, is there a reimbursement for you? Is that why you pulled it?
Correct. Yeah, it's actually a fee for an event, so I feel like I just need to recuse myself, abstain.
All right. Jackie?
Councilmember Zones. Armstrong.
Aye.
Richardson,
Abstain.
Beach,
Aye.
Ray,
Aye.
Dalby,
Aye.
I need a first and second motion on item I, which is a resolution directing the city attorney to petition the court for title to abandon property at 210 North Jefferson Way, 404 South Beef Street, and 801 East First Avenue.
Second.
And Melissa, do you have a question on this one?
I have a question. I know that letters go out by first class mail and certified mail, and my question is, did those come back returned and signed?
Yep, did check on that earlier this afternoon. So the certified, the ones that got sent certified did get kicked back to us, but the ones that got sent first class did not get kicked back to us. So
So kickback as in.
We receive them back. So the certified mail on the actual mailings, what has been very consistent is that you have to sign for that as a property owner. The property owner is not signing for those and they're just refusing them. The first class mail, you don't have to sign that, just the regular, and those aren't coming back. So the reason they're coming back to us is because they're not being accepted or signed by that property owner. They have, it doesn't necessarily say that they've outright refused them, it's just that they have not been able to properly deliver them. Post office hasn't. So, and if they were completely not showing up, typically we'd receive both back. So, but you know, our assumption at that point would be that the property owner probably is seeing them because the other ones aren't getting kicked back, but it's hard to say.
Does the property owner live?
No, I believe Webster City.
Do they own additional property other than those two?
I'm pretty sure the answer is no to that though.
One other. And someone else.
Okay,
But I just
Yeah.
checked out.
no, you could be right, yeah.
It has a different address. When was the last time we actually had?
So the house on Jefferson Way. Maybe in year 2019, well, let's just say 2019, I'm pretty sure that was the year. We had some issues on making that a safer building, just the porch was. I remember the porch had some issues, there were some foundation issues, there was broken windows, things like that. We worked with a representative of the property owner at that time and they made some repairs to it, but since then, this property and the other two that they have, we've been trying to get mowing done, brush hauling, things like that, and it just is not getting done. So the city's been maintaining the property, what property it is, for at least 2 years, in some cases 4.
And we do for a fact know that they are abandoned, that they are not being rented out. to
Yeah,
someone.
utilities have been off on there. I know it's in the memo there, but give me a second, I can look here really quick. But I believe they've all been off for at least 2 years.
They're still alive.
No. The person that we worked with before was either the daughter or granddaughter of the property owner, and I don't remember which one it was, but we never.
See that?
So North Jefferson Way has had no active utility services since 2020. The South B Street has had no active utility services since 2023. And 801 East First has had no active utility services since 2023. For us and for state code to meet that requirement, it just has to be vacant or abandoned for 6 months. So we've met that criteria.
If she is in fact, if she has passed away and it's in some form of estate. I mean, is that gonna affect anything? I mean, I know sometimes estate cases can.
So from my
Right.
experience on these petitions, our attorney will have to go through the process of finding anybody who's on the estate, find anybody who might have a lien against the property and things like that. So there is a whole process we have to go through to notify anybody who has an interest in the property.
That this is basically starting that
Yep.
process.
Yep, so they will be notified and then they can respond to the petition and they can report and say, no, I own this property, it's in my name, it's not abandoned. Argument.
In 2019, when we were able to make contact with. How did you make? Stored in your head.
Really guessing on the year too, I'm pretty sure it was 2019.
Questions? Becky?
Councilmember Dolly.
Aye.
Jones. Strong. Richardson.
Aye.
Beach.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
Moving on to item U, I know there's been a lot of conversations that I've had with every single one of you. Busy. We had talked to them, I think what we'd like to do is just defer this. You know, Ruben has kind of the thoughts on it. And so if you would mind sending me by tomorrow, the end of the day, your thoughts on it, and then I can share those thoughts and opinions with Aaron, Charlie. Come up with policy that we feel. It's great work already, Aaron. I think we just want to drill down and take the vagueness out of it, so. Discuss it a little bit more. Okay with that? All right. We will move on.
We need a motion.
Do we need a motion for that?
Yes.
So motion to defer it. So can I get a first and second motion to defer item U? Jackie?
Member Reed,
Aye.
Dolly,
Aye.
Stones, Armstrong,
Aye.
Richardson,
Aye.
Beach,
Aye. Moving on to council reports. I need a first and second motion to receive and file the May 2024 treasurer's report. Yes. Here, if you have any questions for me. As well as Roxanne. Any questions?
Mayor,
Yes.
about the question I have on the investments about are our investments better than what iPaid is getting right now and return on those investments? Last time I found out, talked to the league, some of the league folks, iPaid was about 5.25% on some of the investments. I'm not sure where we are with the others, to be honest about it.
That's something we
I
should have.
apologize for not getting that out to staff prior to the meeting.
we'll get back to you on that one.
Thanks, Steve. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on to the council committee report update. I know council member, since you're still with us, I'll let you.
Well, I'm sorry, the audio cut out on that. What was the answer to that question I had?
Your council report.
I understand, but on the iPaid issue, what was the answer on that one?
We'll get back to you.
We'll have to do some research on that one and get back to you.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Council reports, we did have an LPC Legislative Policy Committee with the league this last week. And that we took in some of the considerations that staff had made to Jackie, and Jackie sent those in. We are moving forward with being a little more proactive. We've got another meeting in July via Zoom that we'll talk about and try to drill down to ferret out some of the most important issues, and then kind of move forward with some of the particulars. But the whole concept behind the Legislative Policy Committee is that they're going to be, rather than being reactive, we're going to try to work to be really proactive in some of the issues that are in front of the state legislature. So that's my report.
Also, one of the things that Member Richardson was written out for me here is that tomorrow, June 18th, there's a webinar to learn about the new legislation, and a webinar tomorrow afternoon regarding libraries. Those are through the League of Cities, I assume, website.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other reports? Along to the mayor's report community update. The Bike Fest. Half ago. Other thank you. Those that came and helped out most of the Steve there. Small end spots. Raised about $1,000 to start a necessity pantry. Very excited about that. Moving on to item B is I need a first and second motion on the approval of a reappointment of Lindsay Capps to the Indianola Wellness Campus Board of Trustees for term beginning July 1st, 2024 and ending July 1st, 2025. Discussion.
Member Armstrong, Richardson,
Aye.
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 Dolby,
Aye.
Stones,
on to public consideration under old business and the fiscal year 2024 budget. I need a first and second motion to open the public hearing regarding an amendment to the year 2024 budget. Second.
Member Dolby.
Aye.
Armstrong.
Aye.
Richardson.
Aye.
Aye. Now in the. It's like Roxanne.
Hi, everyone. Well, I didn't intend to be back so soon with a budget amendment, but I had noticed a form error. An amendment, so I wanted to, after discussion with Ben and management, versus trying to cut to accommodate that. So we didn't get an error with the external audit. It was best to amend. So this amendment is actually a 2% change in the overall budget, and it mainly applies capital projects, but the error was in the business type enterprise functions. This slide, I wanted to clarify something. I named off all of the funds last time. I wanted to clarify that the business type enterprise funds are actually the internal service funds. I know that a lot of talk has been on the internal service funds. So just for clarification, if you're looking at that Department of Management form, you'll know that that's what these are. And these are the departments that make up. So the main changes, besides fixing the Scrivener's error, was added the costs for the roof replacement for the Regions Bank building on Howard Street. And then we also increased the engineering costs for the City Hall project, City Hall Public Safety Building project. The increases to the business type enterprise expenses, most of those were covered in the second amendment, but they're listed here. One thing I wanted to note is that this is something I did not say last time was we actually moved Vehicle Fund 190 to Vehicle Fund 890. And that was per guidance from our external auditor. That way it could be considered an internal service fund as well. There was one other thing I wanted to point out, and this is more related to the treasurer report, but I think it's good information. And it was in the memo that I did present to on the treasurer report, but our debt service payments are paid biannually. Interest payments are made in December, and the interest and principal payments are made in June of every year. So just some information. So if you have any questions, let me know if you have any questions now. And I apologize for the error. I will try to not have this error.
We'll let it go this time, Roxanne.
Yeah.
Do you know what the expense was for that new roof?
We actually budgeted high. I believe it came out to be 121,000. Yeah. We had actually estimated 300,000 for that. But it came out way under what we had anticipated.
You know when that construction is gonna happen on that roof?
It's done.
It's done.
Yeah,
Wrap it up today.
Actually, substantially.
Well, that's great. That's good.
anything else?
Yes, I have one question. The ending fund balance, are we still looking projected, Roxanne, to be in that 25-28% range? Where are we projected to be in the ending fund balance in this month?
I believe we will still be there. I am actually looking at those final numbers now, because I am going through the fiscal year 25. I can get you an updated report by the next council meeting if you'd like.
That'd be good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, not a problem. Thank you.
Any other question? Can I get a first and second motion to close the public hearing?
Just on the roof repairs. I received a few questions specifically on the roof repairs and bank. Repairs don't allow them to go back into the building.
Well, yeah, so the roof repair was kind of step one. There's some carpet cleaning, some ceiling tile repair and things like that we need to do from the water damage. But yeah.
So we just expected it to go.
Yeah, you're taking some of my thunder on the city manager's report, but
Oh,
I'll
I'm sorry.
do it right now. That's fine. No, the goal is to have everything wrapped up by the end of this week, and then Regions Bank has indicated that they will move from their portable trailer back into the bank next Monday, week from today, so.
About that.
You're fine.
First and second motion to close the public hearing. Jackie.
Councilmember Dalby.
Aye.
Sons.
Aye.
John.
Aye.
Richardson.
Aye.
Beach.
Aye.
Aye.
Moving on to item number 2, which is 911 North C Street. I'll go over kind of how this, oh, I'm sorry. I need a first and second motion on the resolution approving the third amendment to the fiscal year 24 budget. Thank you. Now Jackie.
Councilmember Ray.
Aye.
Dalby.
Aye.
Armstrong.
Aye.
Richardson.
Aye.
Beach.
Aye. Now we can move on to item number 2. Once we get into the public hearing, I'll kind of walk through the steps of how we're gonna do this. So I need a first and second motion to open the public hearing regarding a nuisance at 911 North C Street. A second. Okay, Jackie.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
Christina and
Melissa first, I was.
wondering if the hearing.
Okay, we don't need to go there.
Okay, so we don't need to do that, so great. All right, so the way that we'll go through this is, staff will get up and they'll present the case on the property, and then if you have questions, we will ask questions to the staff. Then we will allow the property owner, to present their case. Once the property owner is finished, if there's any questions for the property owner, and then from there, I'll allow the property owner to make a closing statement. After the property owner has made the closing statement, I will close the case to any further comments from the staff or the property owner. And then we'll ask the city council to discuss the matter. During this period, the city council may direct further questions to the staff and the property owner. And then once we get to the conclusion of that discussion, we will have a couple motions that we can make here, and I'll outline those when we get there. So, right. Leave it over to Charlie to start.
So I had everything on here as well too, but I'll just give you kind of a brief background from our end. On April 22nd of 24, we did receive an anonymous complaint regarding junk vehicles and brush on the property. A little bit of a long duration here just because some of our backlog right now in code cases, but our enforcement officer went out on May 16th and noted that there was tall grass and weeds, junk appliances, a dumpster that was had trash in it, junk truck and brush piles on the property located at 911 North C Street, excuse me. That same day, we did send a letter by both first class and certified mail to the property owner. On May 24th, we did receive a request for a hearing in writing from the property owner at 911 North C Street. And at your last meeting on June 3rd, you did set the hearing on this matter. Just some pictures. I know all the May 16th pictures were included in your agenda packet. We did get out again today and take some more pictures. And I apologize that it might not show here well with just the size of the pictures, but on this one, you can see kind of on the side of that garage there was some tall brush that was present there. And then today that brush was mostly knocked down. So our opinion would be that portion is no longer in violation. This one, on this one, you can see on May 16th, there was the junk vehicle that was parked in the grass there. And then the driveway one did not have a front license plate, we believe, probably also the same scenario, but don't know for sure on that one. However, two issues here are the junk vehicles plus the vehicles being parked on grass, and those both still exist today. And this one just with the appliance that was in the driveway and the dumpster, the appliance has been removed. Looks like the dumpster may have been emptied, maybe starting to fill up again. That's the dumpster in itself is not a giant case, but just also noting it's kind of part of the process here. And I believe the complaint that we got, if I remember right, noted that the dumpster hadn't been emptied in some months, but it looked like that had at least been emptied now since then. The last picture just showed there was some brush growing there on what would be the south side of the house, I believe. Yeah, it's C Street, so south side of the house. And you can see today that was removed. So ultimately, from our standpoint, there are some violations that have been remedied since that time, mainly the brush and the grass and tall grass and weeds. I think what we're down to is those junk vehicles that are sitting on the side of the property there that still remain. So that is all I have. Happy to answer any questions if you have them.
Occupying the home.
I believe so, but I'm not 100% sure on that either. The mailing address I know was to somebody who took possession of the house last 6 months, and it's going to that property, so.
You know that at least the electrics on. Stocking the property just happened that there was a light on.
That's some good work, financial work. Any other questions for staff?
Or in the driveway. Or the junk.
It's not licensed, so if it's not licensed, it falls within the category of being a junk vehicle, but at the same time, it's parked on a hard surface, the tires aren't flat or anything like that, so we probably wouldn't do anything about that one, but when it comes to the definition of that, it meets in it. I don't know how long that one's been there. I know I live in the area, so I know the truck that's in the backyard there, that one's been there for a while.
How do we know the?
There's not a license plate on the front, so it could be licensed, it's just the license plate isn't there.
Regular. Property owner here. Hello, thank you for being here. Would you give us your name and address?
I'm Nils Anders Backstrom of it 911 North C Street, Iowa. Yeah, just thanks for taking the time. My biggest concern was with the dumpster. Everything else I could remedy. I did schedule a tow for tomorrow for the red truck. The Aveo there, it does run. Have to lights on it.
Charlie, if those get remedied, then we're taken care of.
Yes.
We could look at, of the options I've been given, we could continue this hearing till Monday, July 1st and taken care of, then go away. So do you think by July 1st, you could have the cars moved? Or
Yeah,
plate on the front of it?
Yeah.
And that'll be good then. We do that at our next meeting.
I was just concerned about the dumpster because I'm going to need it for a little while longer. Okay.
Thank you for being here and putting in the hard work to get it cleaned up. It looks nice, beautiful house.
Great.
So, I guess that could be, if there's no more questions, could I get a first and second motion, to continue the hearing till July 6th, on Monday, July 1st? Pending that these two situations would be taken care of and staff will follow up with us on that. And I'll go. Yeah.
Councilmember Stones? Armstrong?
Aye.
Richardson?
Aye.
Beach?
Aye.
Wade?
Aye.
Dolby?
Perfect, thank you.
Thanks so much.
And city staff will be in touch. Thank you so much for being here. So, our resolution item B is will be taken care of on July 1st, then we can dismiss this. Moving on to new business, I need a first and second motion on a resolution approving the preliminary plat of Quail Meadow 5. Charlie, do you want to talk a little bit about
Phil Stager of Stager Construction has submitted a preliminary plat application for this piece of ground. The proposed plat does show a total of 15 new residential lots. The map here does show the preliminary plat. Council, just for some background on this one, this preliminary plat originally was approved back in 2019. They originally proposed to do this in 2 phases. It ended up being 3 phases after COVID hit. They split up that first phase into 2 smaller phases. Typically on this one, we might allow this preliminary plat just to run its course of expiration and still be approved since there's not many substantial changes. However, in this one, they did add an additional lot. So previously there was only 14 lots on this one, and they did add a 15th lot in there. So that's the reason it's coming back through. But again, shows 15 lots, and then future connectivity from North 7th Street is shown, and it'll essentially connect the DR Horton development, the Summercrest development south up through this development, the Quail Meadows development. We'll provide another in and out for the Quail Meadows area in that portion. The map on the left shows the comprehensive plan designation on there, and then the map on the right does show that the zoning is in place for R2 zoning, which matches what they're proposing to use there. And lastly, the Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend that this plat be approved with conditions, and the conditions were, it's on the next one, that all comments provided by staff and the review comment letter dated May 30th, 2024 must be addressed prior to recordation of the plat. Those have all been addressed. I believe there might be a few outstanding stormwater comments, just kind of buttoning up that, but we will make sure that that gets taken care of before the final plat is here. Any questions on that one? Happy to answer them.
Back to the parcel map, please. There you go. So that road that's connecting at 7th through that full ends in 8,000.
Yep, so the one that, yeah, the one that's highlighted in yellow there is the one that you're looking at, but then that 8,000 parcel, the one just to the south of it is also being developed at the same time. So that one does have a preliminary plat that's already been approved for it. They're starting to construct that. I believe they've already started on that one. If not, they're getting really close to starting to work on that one. So
Is it the same?
it's, yeah, Vanderpool is doing both of them for both of the property owners. So that's kind of it's actually really nice to have that done. And I think the paving operations are being done by Sternquist too. So they're going to try to do both of them at the same time, and they should be completed at the same time.
questions?
Councilmember Stones? Armstrong?
Aye.
Richardson?
Aye.
Beach?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
Dolby?
Aye.
Moving on to item number 2, I need a first and second motion on a resolution improving site plan application for a restaurant and retail sales at 302 Trail Ridge Avenue. Back to you.
All right, excuse me, Justin Brown of Downey Construction on behalf of SHDC LLC. Requesting approval of a major site plan for Summercrest Plaza. This site, as mentioned, is located at 302 North Trail Ridge Avenue. The proposal does show a multi-tenant commercial building with uses including retail, restaurant, and a drive-through. One user has been identified so far. That'll be Starbucks, and the remainder is considered speculative at this point. This shows the site plan that has been submitted. So north is on the top. If you're familiar with the area, Hardee's is just on the south side of this one. The proposal does show the 5 future commercial tenants on this property. Mentioned again, the one user being identified for the unit that is on the far left on the west side of that property is Starbucks. You can kind of see the drive-through goes up around the back of the building and then back down through there. You can see that lane there. You can see those cars kind of inspect in there for that. It's a total of about a 60,000 square foot area, or excuse me, the building's not 60,000 square foot. The impervious surface being added is 60,000 square foot. And the property does take access off of East Trail Ridge Avenue. So the same access that you would go into for Hardee's would be continued north on this one. This shows the comprehensive plan on the left and then the zoning on the right. Zoning is C2, so that is appropriate for, the uses are appropriate for this zoning district. It shows just a quick look at what the elevations will look like. Again, you can see Starbucks there on the western side of this and then the 5 lease spaces. So you can see the differentiation on the facades and everything signifying each tenant space. Lastly, the Planning and Zoning Commission on this does recommend approval with the condition. And those conditions are essentially just cleaning up a few things. So there's a few variances that need to be applied for this as far as the design requirements go. Really on this one, what it is Starbucks has very strict guidelines in which they require their buildings to be developed at that don't necessarily meet our design standards. So we're working through some options on that for them to apply for variances. Prior to a sign permit, they need to request a text amendment to allow for additional drive-through facility signs. Again, something that Starbucks requests. That doesn't meet our code, so we just need to get an amendment done on that. A public sidewalk connection being made to the southeast once those properties are developed. So they show a future connective sidewalk coming into this site, but the property to the south and to the east there is not developed. So really that sidewalk would go nowhere. So we're deferring that sidewalk going in until that property to the south is developed. And then remaining stormwater management comments need to be addressed as well. And again, like the last one, they're very minor. So any questions on this? Happy to answer them.
Where would the sidewalk go?
Once it's done, so it would go down to Trail Ridge, where Trail Edge, so it'd be on the east side of that frontage road there on the other side of Hardee's and would just go up into this property. So our thought was, just with the hotels in the area and then what some of the future plans for this area call for, having pedestrian connectivity would be key.
The drive-through going around on the north side, where's the trash for all the?
Go back to the site plan if you don't mind. I believe, I don't remember where they put it. I think I'm almost positive it's in that far northeast corner. I'm not seeing it really on this one. I know one of the sheets that they have there kind of show it up on that northeast portion of the way. So where that last vehicle stacked is there, just to the right of that, there's a dumpster enclosure that goes there.
Property is gonna have a drive. Just trying to figure out how it's gonna work with.
The 3 spaces in there. Yeah, so again, if you look, the top of that screen is on the north side right there, so towards the Tyson's facility and Starbucks is up the side. So they'll come in straight on that right edge of that site plan, kind of go in there on the east side of the building and then up and around the top and then back along the west side of the building.
We have a similar setup in, if you're ever up in Altoona where their Starbucks is set up just like 4 commercial spaces and then long around the backside. Very similar, the look.
I think if we have any other drive-through facilities in town that are similar, and I can't think of any.
Pretty standard on this type of development. It allows you to get your queuing out of the way and not.
One that might be the most similar would be Charlotte's Kitchen. Yeah, I was just thinking that where you have 2 tenant spaces there and it kind of goes around the entire backside of the building and background. That's almost exactly what this one will be like, except there's 5 units.
Jackie.
Councilmember Richardson,
Still there.
We're still there?
me. Councilmember Richardson,
Aye.
Graves,
Aye.
Dalby.
Aye.
Stones.
Aye.
Armstrong.
Aye.
On to item number 3, I need a first and second motion on a first consideration of an ordinance adding chapter 168 fire. Chief.
Here, council, or chief, bring to you. What we're trying to do with this is some more definition to malicious alarm. separate it from a false alarm. And that's the whole gist of the change here in the ordinance. Legal, as we've had conversations with legal's the one that actually put the document together for us, and it's something that needs to be.
A lot of situations where we get false alarms.
There's enough, yes, that pulls us away from what we should be doing.
What's the amount of the fee?
Or if it's it depends on what it is. So if you've got a false alarm, you get a letter after 2. Third one, you get another notice. After 3 in 12 months, you will get a fee, and it's set by the state code, and it starts at $105. Goes up to, I believe it's $850 is the max. If it's a malicious, we start at $750.
How do you determine what's malicious, and are you guys doing the
Yes,
investigation?
we're doing the investigation upon our response to the alarm. And then we will identify whether it's a true malicious alarm or false alarm.
If you deem it to be malicious, is there an opportunity for that person to try to counter your arguments and
Yeah, it's outlined in the process, and so if they want to contest that, yes.
It would be deemed malicious after 4 or more.
No, completely different. Malicious is,
Failure to comply.
it's an intent to disrupt. Malicious is. For whatever purpose.
Intentionally.
Yes.
triggered.
So where this originally has started and came from is, unfortunately, our environment that we live in, shootings. Now, some of these people are actually pulling the fire alarms in schools. So they know everybody's coming out to the hallways. There's a huge safety push for that.
how would this deter from that happening though? And that pulls the fire
You
alarm in, they're gonna
really,
hear
you
about
really
it.
can't. It's unfortunate.
Let's say a kid just pulled it because it's funny, right? Walks away. Are you are you able to go after a minor?
We would go, yeah, there's another avenue that we would take that to. And what it is there's a program, a state program called Junior Fire Starters Program, where they would have counseling for minors.
Are we really achieving our? Can't. We're sending them to counseling. They just pull the alarm because they think it's funny. In the other instance. Fine for shooting instance.
So what's your question?
I guess my question is. The fine is for. Instance where
Somebody-
we have the case of the mass shooting.
Yeah, there's other purposes that somebody could do it maliciously. There's intent, just disrupt. That's where the fine comes in to deter that.
Like, for instance, the Simpson dormitories.
Important.
One evening, they're having too much fun and they're coming back and they pull them, and then would that be a better example of?
It's one of them, yes. Happens quite often at Drake.
Mayor?
Was me.
Okay.
Yeah, question for you. So am I wrong in believing that this is more like a situation as well? Where you've got two neighbors that are arguing about various things and one neighbor decides to, the neighbor they're arguing with is having a party or a group of friends over and they call in a fire alarm or something like that. Is that something that would fall under this category, chief?
No, this is gonna be with a system, an automatic system. So any business or school that has a automatic system, a detection system,
Okay. Gotcha.
Kind of as like an example, like the apartments that I manage, if we had a teenager running up and down our hallways and they decided, oh, here's a fire alarm, I'm gonna pull it. That would be malicious because they intended to disrupt the living. Right?
And that's the definition that Jackie sent us there today, right?
Yes.
False or intentionally triggering fire alarm intended to cause disruption, panic, or harm rather than to alert occupants of the fire. Pretty broad in a commercial multifamily application, right? A commercial system. You're just trying to bring definition to the chaos.
What happens if that person say, even malicious, you fine them $750 and they're like, I'm not gonna pay it. So what's the consequences for not paying it?
then it goes back to legal.
Imagine it would be like any ticket you don't pay, eventually you go after your license, your car registration.
Right.
Questions?
Thank you.
Jackie? Councilmember Sons? Armstrong?
Aye.
Richardson?
Aye.
Beach?
Aye.
Dave?
I,
Bobby?
Aye.
Okay, moving on to other business and then. Deputies.
Yeah, just a few things. Want to remind council that you do have a special meeting on Thursday, June 27th at 6 p.m. So just make sure that's on your calendar. Wanted to let you know that the Indianola Public Arts Committee has received a $25,000 grant, art grant that they propose to use for some, lighting art or art lighting in the Buxton pedestrian alley there. That's right next to the county building, between that and the Edward and Jones building right there. So very excited about that and congratulations to them on getting that grant. I know there's been a lot of discussion and interest from some council members on some of the development agreements that we're currently working on. So I just wanted to make sure council's aware that we're currently working on, or we've currently received proposals for 3 development agreements. One is the Deer Run area, one is Summercrest Plaza, that building that was just approved tonight, and then the Kentucky Ridge area as part of that. So we're working through that stuff with legal right now on getting those. Any TIF process we go through, there's just a lengthy process of making sure that we have the legal descriptions, looking at existing TIF areas, removing some of those, adding them in. So we're just taking the time to go through all that process right now, but would suspect that in the next couple months, those will be coming forward to council. We talked about the Regions Bank building, so don't need to mention that. Other one I know that's been of some interest is our chicken ordinance. So that is going to go to Planning and Zoning Commission on June 25th. So a week tomorrow night. If the Planning and Zoning Commission does move it forward to council, then that would be on your council meeting on July 29th. That would normally be an August 5th meeting, the first Monday in August. But again, that got moved to the 5th Monday in July rather than the first Monday in August. So update on the Franklin Avenue project. So street has not been closed yet. Once we started that project officially last Monday, we had some utility companies do some borings out there for utilities, and we noticed that the utilities, mainly gas and electric utilities, were very shallow. So our engineer has been working through some aspects of that and what we can do to remedy that. Essentially, we have 2 options. We can pay a little bit more money as a city to do some creative things to be able to put the concrete on top of the road with those utilities in place. Or we can ask the utility companies to relocate, which will likely cause months and months and months of delay on that project, which we don't want. So we're looking through some of those options. I think AP mentioned today, we're looking at maybe like $6,000, $7,000 increase potentially on that, but that'll come through to council at some point. So that project's just been delayed as we go through and try to figure out what's going on there. We'll do kind of once we do get that project going, and I think we're thinking it might still be a week or two before we get moving on that. We'll be sure to let the property owners know out there. South Gate Street's been closed. Just want to urge everybody in the public to please be mindful of the road closure signs. That's been an issue this past week where people have not been paying attention to those, have been going through them and then entering the construction site as Vanderpools, trying to do work out there, which is very unsafe. So again, just please be mindful of the closures that are out there and please pay attention to those. And then 2 other projects, the Buxton and Clinton projects, so the Buxton Signal and then the Clinton Culvert project. We're working with the contractors right now to determine start dates on those, but those should be kicking off within the next couple weeks to a month as well. So any questions on any of that, happy to answer them.
Question for you on the K Street thing. So I had a couple people actually bring up to me over the weekend that coming back, like they went out 65 to 69 to Aquabi, but then went to bring gravel back. And there weren't really any like warning of closed roads ahead until they got to it. So then they had to backtrack all the way back around. So they had asked if there was any way to put maybe some advanced warning a little further down on K Street. I don't know if that's something we
Or
could.
you're talking like in the county when you get way out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
We
to
can
let-
definitely we'll take a look at those detour signage
Yeah.
and make sure that's being covered.
They weren't the,
You guys have
apparently
nothing.
they weren't the only ones. There was
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 cars like all in a row that were just kind of following each other back from Aquabi, and I guess they all had to turn around and then go all the way back, so.
We'll take a look at that.
All right.
Kentucky Road. Last I kind of knew. He's off on the stormwater issue. What's happened with that?
So they went back out and got some more bids on the project and they lowered their cost pretty substantially on that one. So their proposal then was to split those costs 50-50 with the city on that. We ran some numbers with our utility accounts and then try to get creative on how we repay those utility accounts if we loan from them. So we're working through that right now with a proposal that would essentially use some of our utility accounts to pay for half of that project. And then when the TIF starts producing, we would reimburse those utility accounts. And it's probably gonna be about a 5 to 10 year repayment, I would say, on that from our end. We'll get all that information when the development agreement comes forward to you.
I need a first and second motion to enter into closed session in accordance with Iowa Code Section 21.51C to discuss strategy with legal counsel in matters that are presently in litigation or litigation is imminent and where disclosure would likely further prejudice or disadvantage the government. Second.
Councilmember Dolby.
Aye.
Jones. Armstrong.
Aye.
Richardson.
Hi,
Beach.
Aye.
Dave.
Aye.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I am gonna have to jump off here. My apologies. So.
Well, that's okay. Enjoy Seattle.